Take a look for a moment at the readings today. When I was a kid, I remember a poster that said, "Some people live, others just exist." That really spoke to me because I was feeling like I was existing. Some people live, others exist. That first reading, before the Lord of the whole universe. The universe is like a grain of sand. God created it. God has something much more than just giving us existence. He wants to be able to have us get to know Him. I almost left the Catholic Church because I didn't understand relationship. And that sacraments lead us into a relationship with Jesus. If I don't get that, then I don't get a lot of things. Second reading where St. Paul says to the Thessalonians, "We pray for you, that our God may make you worthy of His calling." Calling. God has a call for me. You know, when I talk to seminarians, every one of them will speak about his call. But many times when I speak to young people or about to married people, what's it like to be called to be married? What? What's it like to be called to be married? That's a sin. We are called to do something with our life, and we can't get there if we don't live in a relationship. But to get there, I've got to be able to know God's mercy, and that's why the readings today speak a lot about mercy. The first reading where it says, the way that God works, He rebukes offenders little by little. He's not out to condemn. He rebukes them little by little, warning them, reminding them of the sins they are committing, so that they might abandon that, believe in Him, and follow Him. I wonder why Jesus spoke to us, why He went to Jericho that day. He had a lot of work. No, I think He knew there's a little short guy in a tree I want to talk to. That little short guy, I'm going to teach something very important. And we find it in the last phrase. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost. What happens when people never get to know the Lord? Then I think for many of them, they stay lost. As I come to talk about Casa Hogar, even about Priesthood Sunday, it's really saying, when we discover that God has a call for us, things happen. Who's the founder of Casa Hogar? Do you know his name? I was thinking you were going to say Sebastian. Yeah, it's Father Jose Vallieski, Joe Vallieski. When we talk about God's call with the kids at Casa Hogar, we say, this is a dangerous question. La pregunta peligrosa. Lord, what is it that you want me to do with my life? When we ask that question, we're not existing. When, not just existing, when we ask that question, we're not just trying to be good or avoiding evil. We are trying to take our life and putting it in the hands of God. For Father Joe Vallieski, as a young boy, when he made that question, he continued to follow that relationship, to follow that sense of peace that said, I want you to be a missionary. I want you to be a priest. I hope each one of us experiences something like that in our life so that we can move forward in that spiritual life. For him, it led him ultimately to Bolivia in 1956. 8 years later, he came back to the U.S. A number of years later, he heard about suffering in a slum called Villa Salvador near Lima. And the bishop there said, could you come and help us? What can one guy do? What can you do? What can I do? Squat. I can't do much. He said, I have 2 hands. It's all I got, but I'll give it to the Lord. He got permission and he went. What I love about him is he didn't just say, well, let me count the cost. Let's see, can I stay in control? No. He said, I will put myself completely in God's hands. He is a legend in Villa Salvador. But he is watching children in the streets who never learn hope. They exist. They never learn to avoid evil because they're brought up in a culture that teaches them counterfeit happiness. And so the kids come from dysfunctional families, living in the streets. How will they ever be the future moms and dads? Father Joe Malieski had the opportunity in 1985 to meet John Paul II. John Paul came to his parish. He introduced the Pope to 2 million people. And he said to the Pope, he said, the children don't know Christ. I feel that God is calling me to take another step in my life to found an orphanage. He was about 62 years of age. Would you do something like that at 62? We want to take Social Security at 62. He took a huge risk and started the orphanage, taking high-risk kids living in a very difficult, very poor situation with no money. He begged and begged when he came to the U.S. The orphanage has been going on for 30 years. 14 years under Father Jose, 13 years under Father Sebastian. I've been there now for a little over 3 years. I've been visiting for 20 years. Why do we have this house? To bring children out of simple existence. To bring them into a relationship in which they learn through other human beings what love is, what family is, what faith is, who Jesus is, so that they can begin to have hope. Many of our children come to us. We have 64 kids, 32 boys, 32 girls. We bring them in families of 8, where we join them together. 8 girls, 8 girls, 8 girls, 8 girls, 8 boys, 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 boys. They learn from married couples what it is like to live as a family. We have Mass available every day. These children will learn to enter into that kind of relationship with people and with God. The kids that come to us, they often come with intestinal problems, respiratory problems, liver problems, because they're coming from malnutrition. Almost all of them come with parasites. They come from that environment. Our first job is to just get them healthy. Many of our kids haven't gone to school except maybe 1 year. They're somewhere between 5 and 10 years old. We'll get 10 years old kids who have had 1 year of school. They cannot read. And let's get those kids into school. Let's get them in a program to learn how to read. But emotionally, psychologically, there's a lot of wounds. Are they orphans? A number of them are orphans. Others come from extreme poverty, or extreme abandonment, or high-risk, toxic, dysfunctional environments where they have to get out. Those are the kids that come to us. And then we work with them. I'm more passionate now than I was when I started, because I can see that if we don't do this, these children will be lost, and at best, all they can do is exist in a dysfunctional, counterfeit world. And we want to be able to give them hope. I want to give an example. One of our girls who is graduating this year, her mother died tragically about 8 years ago. Her father died 2 years ago in prison of tuberculosis. She was not able to see her father in prison. A couple months ago, she said, "Father, could I visit the grave of my mother? I haven't seen it for a couple of years." I said, "We'll go." So on the birthday of her mom, we went to the grave. She wrote a letter. I was there at her side, and she read the letter. Something like this. "Dear Mom, I miss you. You've been gone for over 8 years. I love you, but at the same time, I know that you weren't around for me. I forgive you for not being there when I needed you most. I forgive you for the countless nights I cried. The countless ways in which everybody else has a mom, but I don't have a mom, and you weren't there because I guess you didn't have the formation I had. I forgive you, Mom, for not being the mother you should have been. You could have been the mom I would have loved to have had. I hope to see you someday. I pray for you. Always. When she finished, we said a prayer, we blessed the grave. We curled up the letter and buried the letter there at the grave. The next month, she said, could you take me to visit my father's grave? So we went. I brought another little girl along. And this time, this young lady, she said, this one I need to be alone. She said, this one is very personal. She wrote a long letter. She knelt down beside the grave, and I went off to the side with the other little girl, and we watched from a distance. For about 15 minutes, she read her letter to her father. Because she had told me, she said, I really, really loved my dad, even though he was in prison for some crazy thing that he had done. But he was my dad. See, how do you get beyond existence? How do you live when you come from this background? Unless somebody reaches out to you. You can't. There are millions of these children in South America. Millions. Millions upon millions of these children in the world. We can get caught up in our artificial, antiseptic, sterile environment. I know there's a lot of suffering here too. But I tell you, there's no social safety net in Peru. You fall, you die. We have to get these kids ready so that at the age of 17, not 25 or 28 or 30 like us, we have to get them at about age 17 to be ready to face the big world. We start with what's called the Project of Life, Proyecto de Vida, so that at age 15, we start working with them and saying, what are your interests? What are your talents? How can we prepare you for some kind of vocational trade or some kind of other job for the university? Let's look for a scholarship for you. Then we work with those kids for the first couple of years of transition because some of them have no one. No one. We also try to get the kids so that when they get back into whatever family system they might have, they might be able to be a source of hope for their family, to be able to lift up their family. That is why we have what is called Casa Hogar, house, home. Casa Hogar. Juan Pablo was Juan Pablo. John Paul was the first benefactor. And it is to save these lives and give these children a hope and a future. Father Jose would say, if they don't learn who Jesus is, they will not be equipped to face the tsunami of things that come in their life. That's why I find that my role is so unique, so important. I want to be back. I'll go back next week, because while I'm here, there's no daily mass and there's no confessions. So I'm burning to get back to Casa. Some other things that are going on at Casa that I find fascinating. Father Jose, way back in the 90s, said, there are so many things we could learn from these kids, from the people. I don't want just their money. He said, I want people in our diocese to learn what they can teach us about perseverance, about stick-to-itiveness, about survival, about hope. He said, I want young people to come down. We started mission trips starting about 1996. 1 or 2 trips a year. Now we have 9 major trips of groups of volunteers. 150 to 200 volunteers every year. We are running basically a house of formation, not just for the kids there. We're doing it for the young people and for people who come from mostly the diocese of the Crosse. Father said we will teach a mission spirituality so that when they come back to the U.S., they can go back to their parish and say, how can I be a missionary in this parish? How can I be a missionary in my diocese? Now we are starting something, the next step, next level. Not just a volunteer who comes down for 10 days or 14 days. Now we're taking volunteers in their second, like phase 2, they come down for 2 months, 5 months, 6 months, a year. Right now, at this moment, we have 5 volunteers in South America. Anywhere from 3 months to a year, they will be with us. And as they rotate out, we bring more in. These young people who come and live with us for a number of months, their lives will be impacted forever. I tell the volunteers, you come down for 2 weeks, it will be hugs and kisses with the little kids. You come down for 3 months, 4 months, now your language gets better. Now you're able to go beyond what's your favorite animal. Now you can say, hey, what's going on in your life? The kids will begin to share their story. They will begin, as they gain confidence, to share their pain. And as they share their suffering, then you know that you are going somewhere with them when you suffer in love with those kids. Because when you suffer in love with those kids, you give them hope. That's why I love having volunteers down. They work with the other workers that we have on the team that are Peruvian. And it's a powerful witness. We have all the problems a normal family has. But I say we also have a hope and a faith. A couple other things that are going on right now. We're going to have an eyeglass mission, January. We do it every 2 years. 38 people from the Diocese of Crosse come down, 4 eye doctors. We will give out about 5,000 pair of glasses. Most of them used. What? Used glasses? I don't want to use glasses. I want new glasses. People aren't fussy. They don't have a chance for new glasses. We collect all the old glasses we can, thousands of them. We get the eye doctors to get their prescription as close as possible, and then we give them the glasses that fit closest to their prescription. I will hear, like I did last time, people come up and say, Father, I want to tell you, I see better now than I've seen in 20 years. Would you tell the people of the Diocese of the Crosse how thankful I am? Wow. The eyeglass mission. One of our servers was at the eyeglass mission 2 years ago. The other thing happened. 6 months ago, the Rural Life Committee gave us 800 bags of powdered milk. 300 bags were stolen from there. All of it goes to poor people. This time we're going to be even more cautious. We have 800 more bags coming down. That is 20 tons. You know how many people you feed with 20 tons of powdered milk? Our kids drink powdered milk every single day. This is a great, great gift. We use some of it and we give the rest of it away to other orphanages. We give it away to other institutions, and they are very thankful. That's why I look at the work that we do at Casa, where it's not just 64 kids, it's something much, much, much bigger. Today we'll be taking up a collection. Actually, we can do it next week. This is what I ask you to do. Take the brochure home. Read it. It's in your pews. Read this over. Put it on your kitchen table. It explains the sponsorship program. It explains a lot of things. That's just very interesting. See a little more of the work we do. Then, take the envelope. Put it on your kitchen table. Think about it. Pray about it this week. What can we as a family give to our diocesan mission in South America? This is our mission. I can't do anything without the help of the people. And then you can come back next week, whatever you put in this envelope, 100% of it goes to the children at Casa. The collection you took the other day was for the general missions. This one, 100% goes to the children at Casa. If you have a special petition on it, write it to us, and the kids will pray for it. If you write your check, write it out to the parish here. Father Canepa will put one check and send it to us. Our children pray every day at Mass. Our Mass there is at 6:15 in the morning. Voluntary, you get about 3/4 of the kids any one day. The kids make rosaries. This year we made about 5,000 rosaries. You know how much TV you don't watch when you make rosaries? They made all these rosaries. 2,000 of them go to Bishop Callahan to be given to every young person that receives confirmation during the year. I give away gazillions of them. I sell a few. But this has been a wonderful ministry that the children help us with. The canonization of Father Giovanni, he was an inspiration in my life for the last 41 years. He has inspired so many people in this diocese. The bishop has now begun the canonization process for him. We have a prayer card in the back. Please take a prayer card with you. Pray that prayer, asking the intercession of Father Jose to help you in whatever your special needs are. If you have a special petition, send it to us, and then we will put that in our own box of prayers and include that in our petitions at Mass. One last request. I need laptops. We don't need new ones like you do. We take old ones. If you have old tablets, old laptops, send them to the mission office. We'll send them to South America with the volunteers that go down. We'll clean them up, and we'll give them away to the families there, and we'll share them with some of the employees at Casa, and we will then, with extras, we will share them with other orphanages. So if you have any old laptops, bring them in. I appreciate the opportunity to speak a few moments with you today, because I live in South America. I consider this mission one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life. I feel very close yet to the diocese, even though I'm so far away, because we are shaping the future missionaries for the Diocese of the Crosse. And for that, I will be eternally thankful. I ask you to pray for our mission, because it's not easy. There's a lot of challenges, but we go forward, because I believe that this is our call. And this is our call, to give hope and to teach love to children who otherwise would just